Are you saying that the sound is live even before the starts?
Exactly.
I'm really confused. Have we started yet?
Almost.
Okay.
There we go.
This up. Just tell me when we're ready. Wait, oh God.
Nailed it.
Okay. Seamless transition. Well, nothing is seamless, I guess. Hey, everybody. Hey, folks. Welcome to the 40/40 Men. It's the baseball podcast featuring a fellow who knows a heck of a lot about sport and, well,
that's you now too. Because think of all the work you've done. The season's almost done, and look at all the effort you've put in.
I've put in a lot of effort. I'm still finding that I'm learning these things, and not a day goes by where I'm not puzzled by yet another thing with this bat ball that we use. Yes. Well,
this episode today is there's a reason for this. We're calling it the episode of Atonement.
The episode of Atonement.
And that is because it is the Day of Atonement in Judaism.
You got it. There you go.
Yeah, nailed it. But I also have to atone for fun up the audio last week.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, I don't know why Greg is actually saying that it was a screw up. It was, in fact, a test. We wanted to see just how good our audience is at lip reading. And for our listening audience on YouTube and Spotify, we were just wanting to see level of patience to how long you can listen to a podcast filled with only dead air.
But we actually got people that, winked in, liked, and said are watching.
Multiple downloads.
You could have just said, hey, we can't hear you.
Nobody said a thing.
No one said a thing.
Nobody said a thing. In fact, fan of the show, Cheryl Lynn Taylor's watching right now. If you can hear us,
just say yes.
Just say yes.
Or something.
Yeah. Because I don't want to have to go through another hour of that. Hey, so Greg.
Yeah.
Kevin Pilar is not playing tonight. Do you know why?
I don't know. Is Kevin Pilar is Jewish? Is he possibly respecting the Day of Atonement?
Kevin Pilar is respecting the Day of Atonement. It's a solemn day, one of the most important days in the Jewish calendar. And Kevin Pilar is representing the Jewish contingent.
He's a chosen.
Yes,
he's a chosen.
He's a chosen ball player, and says that our audio is
okay.
But I guess
that's better than no. It's better than no audio.
So I just want you folks to. It's all right. I'm just going to repeat every word twice. So if you get every other word, you're pretty much getting most sentences as I plan on doing it. I can see that the video is going a little choppy, but
that's usual.
Yeah,
that's usual. That's Rogers.
That's par for the course.
Yeah, Rogers.
All right.
I guess it's because we don't officially do this for the Jays, so Rogers doesn't really give us the bandwidth that we should.
No, they're doing it because we're not doing it for the Jays.
Exactly. Or because you probably downloaded Deadpool.
Shut up. Are you just announcing to like all of our listeners what? No, wait, forget. I'm not even going to say.
No. Well, illegal.
You're going to get me in. Shut up. You're getting me in trouble with the CTRTC.
Okay, I'll stop.
All right. Anyhow, so baseball. Say congratulations to Russell Martin, father of a brand new baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's his fourth daughter. His fourth daughter.
Yeah. With
girlfriend Elizabeth Chicoine. They say that he does lean a little left in the batter's box.
You were saying there was a folklore about this, right? Yes.
Yeah. You notice that I'm repeating all the jokes from last week because no one heard them last time.
But if you can lip read,
I get paid by the word. So anyhow, so they've been bringing up a whole bunch of videos for us to watch from the winners. So what's going on with that, Greg?
Well, I personally liked it. Actually, we've got a tiny bit of an update from our Asian correspondent.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
It is not Trish Takanawa, but it is an Asian correspondent, actually reporting from China. So we'll go Jeff.
Hey, guess what? I'm still in China, but it's very modern place. Last week I was wearing my black Blue Jays hat to mourn the loss of the season, but I'm wearing my Leafs hat because of well, it's Leaf time. So go John Tavares. But anyway, our boys are looking pretty good. We kind of skunked the Yankees with 2-1, and Baraki threw a friggin' awesome game against the Orioles. 8 shutout innings, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. With him, Reed Foley, and Thomas Pannone, the future may look brighter in the start rotation than we thought it was going to. This whole thing about Anthony Alford being called up 2 weeks after cut off his Super 2 service time is a load of crap. I mean, it's a contract, it's the collective bargaining agreement. Deal with it. Same thing out of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Braves did it with Acuna. Everybody does it. Why the union is possibly thinking of filing a grievance against us for this Vladimir Guerrero being called up thing is a load of crap. So Tony Clark, just give it a fucking rest. I mean, fucking crazy. Other than that, our position players, I'm liking Bill McKinney. I'm liking Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Both these guys are going to hit really well. And Randall Grichuk, after a horrible start to the season, has come back. He's got about 23 home runs now, and he's smoking the ball these days. So maybe our outfield situation isn't so bad. We might not have to rely on Mr. Wondering outfielder Teoscar Hernandez about trying to catch any balls for us. So I think the future looks good. I'm happy with the way things are going. I wish I was there to see more. I'm not. I will be next year, and I promise you'll see me live between those 2 goofballs behind the desk. But kudos to you guys. Dave, you've done an awesome job. I'm very happy with you replacing me, you son of a bitch. And all I got to say is, go Jays. It doesn't look as bad as you think it's going to be, so just don't fall off the bandwagon just yet. Watch the kids play for a couple of years, and when 2020, 2021 comes around, you're going to see some pretty damn fun baseball team. Back to you, goof.
Well, what we can hear out of that, because we have the audio and the delay. You know those 70s movies, as soon as someone goes to hyperspace, there's just that hello, slight echo.
That's our experience. But your experience is Jeff's got a bit of a potty mouth. Eh?
A little bit. He's angry. He's angry.
He went a little blue. Are we allowed to do that?
Well, I dropped an F-bomb right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's all right.
Please, children, if you're listening, it's too late.
No, but Jeff does have a point. Granted, we don't look that good right now, and we are officially not that good because our elimination number is eliminated. And as of the first game against the Yankees, we officially will not finish 500. But we did finish off the series with the Yankees pretty well, and start great against Baltimore. So we officially have 82 losses. We did not finish 500. If we went out the rest of the season, we will be 2 games below 500.
When was the last time this happened to the Blue Jays?
Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's not that uncommon.
Right. But thanks for being me on it. Fine point in Toronto Blue Jays history.
But he does have a good point that there are a lot of bright sparks. Ryan Baraki last night did pitch a good game. Thomas Pannone was pitching great. Caviglia is looking all right. Sanchez, if he can keep himself healthy without those dumb injuries, he'll be all right. I'm as I was going to mention, Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah.
Ryan John Tellez, by the way. John Rowdy.
So Rowdy isn't on his birth certificate.
No,
you're telling me.
No. There was a Rowdy Gaines who was like a swimmer of the States, and that was his actual name, Rowdy. But he's looking pretty good as future first baseman for the Jays. He's hitting .407 right now with a home run, 6 RBIs, 6 and a 1.153 OPS, and that's only in 11 games.
I see he's got an SLG of 733.
A slugging, yes.
What is
good.
that? Is that
slugging
I think that's good, right?
So what that does is it adds up your total, right? So it's so instead of just like adding up hits, it adds up your total bases, and the higher you go, the better it is, obviously. Right?
So 733 is pretty good.
Yes, it is.
And he's at what, like 36 at bat. So
if that,
yeah. So that's actually doing fairly well, better than he did in Buffalo.
The 2 years ago. But I mean, as we've found out, his mom died a couple of weeks ago from cancer. So obviously that was something that was playing on his mind at this point. And
Unbelievable.
This year he's completely turned it around. So
wow, amazing. So do you think he's going to be starting for us next year?
Well, we've got an option on Justin Smoke, and Justin Smoke isn't bad. He's a good. But he's a switch hitter. But he, he's a lefty glove. Good to keep that on the field. He actually can hit well in American League parks because he is a switch hitter, but he does hit better from the right side. Meaning, there's those short porches in Yankee Stadium in Baltimore, and then the shorter. Even though it is monstrous, hence the Green Monster. But back in the day, that used to be hard to hit over. Now it seems to be like an everyday task. But in terms of first baseman, he makes nothing. Of the 31st baseman in the league, he is 18th in terms of payroll. So I mean, there's some guys that are making $30 million, like Miggy Cabrera. There's 14 guys that are making double digits, and he is making 4.1 right now with an option to make 7 next year. So kind of a bargain. So he's a bargain, and that's sort of a trade piece. Because you've got someone who's a lot younger, who's already starting to hit, will cost less as well.
Okay, so if I'm following you, and I'm about halfway sure that I'm not,
you're there, man. You're there.
Do you think Justin Smoke is going to get traded?
I think so. I think he'll out the rest of this year, and I think in the offseason he will go somewhere.
All right.
Because
we have Reddy Tellez.
Because we have Reddy Tellez, and because he's playing so well. And then the trap of that is if he doesn't, everyone knows Vladimir Guerrero is going to be coming up next year. Bochette is going to be either slotted into second or shortstop. You're going to have Lourdes Gurriel, depending on what we do with Devin Travis. If Guerrero gets to third base, they're going to move him over to first because they definitely don't want to lose that bat. So there's a backup plan in case Rowdy doesn't pan out, which is kind of cool.
Something else. Yeah. I just got a notification. I'm getting information from Cleveland. The athletic trainers over Cleveland have said that Josh Donaldson has just been cleared for I don't know, to ride the bus between Cleveland and Columbus. I think that's what they let him do.
He's done actually not so bad. He's actually hit 3 homers. They also did back him and Encarnacion, and it's just that's that. Well, I mean,
oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing to look at as well. The starting lineup this date on in 2016. Here we go. Ready? Okay. So starting at this date on 2016 was Devin Travis, designated hitter, off. Josh Johnson, Edmund Encarnacion.
I know.
Jose Batista.
Oh, he's
Rusty Martin.
Yes.
Troy Tulowitzki, Michael Saunders, Kevin Pillar, and Ryan Goins.
I've
now
heard of most of that.
On that batting average, we have Travis, Martin, Tulowitzki, and Pillar, and we only actually have 3 of them because Tulowitzki is in a bubble, so that he doesn't hurt himself.
I understand.
But in terms of the team that we had last year, like from the last half, we've got Sanchez, Danny Barnes, Joe Biagini, Marco Estrada, Russell Martin, Dalton Pompey, Kevin Pillar, Justin Smoke, Marcus Stroman, Ryan Tepera, Devin Travis, and Troy Tulowitzki. That is 11 players. 8 of them are still in the Major League Baseball. 3 of them are, in a farm system. We've got 15 guys on other teams, 7 free agents, 2 have retired, 4 are playing in other countries, and 2 are playing an independent league, like somewhere out in New Hampshire-ish.
Independent league is just at the backyard for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and that's the one where you get those good trades. Like, nice crisp soup for some. So there's a few guys that we are missing from our last sort of playoff run. So these guys coming up it's a breath of fresh air, and it was also something for the Jays that it was a lose-win situation, because it doesn't matter if they lose the games, they win because they're giving these guys major league experience. So
did you talk about Anthony Alford?
He just got promoted today again as well.
So what's his story?
Hey, he was essentially our top out prospect for the long time, and has come up and has gone back down, come up and then got injured, gone back down, and not really panned out as much as possible. But he has been recalled to the big club as of today, and that is the fourth guy that was on the team at the time, but he was in the minor leagues and he would make an appearance at that point. So
wow. Also, some interesting news from last week is and a question for you.
Okay.
Is have we seen Gibbons' final ejection as a Toronto Blue Jay manager?
No, we haven't seen his final ejection. We are probably seeing the last little stand of him as the Jays manager, but he's never afraid to go up and have a chat with an umpire.
So he just tied Bobby Cox for the franchise record of 8 ejections in a single season, which is the most of any player, manager, coach, or mascot across Major League Baseball this entire season. He's leading the pack. Yeah, leading the pack with ejections. He has now 52 career ejections.
Yeah, still doesn't touch Bobby Cox though.
Does not touch Bobby Cox. No. Bobby Cox has an insurmountable lead.
Bobby Cox, but also in terms of lifetime, Bobby Cox played until he managed until he was like 70. Like, he was old.
And did he just get angrier and angrier?
Yeah, I think
because I'm reading here that he has 161. Yeah, 161 lifetime ejections.
Yep.
161. Did he get ejected more than once in a single game?
If you factor in that's a full season, almost a full season of ejections.
Yeah. So Gibbs has got quite a lot to make up for. The 52 makes him the 14th most ejected manager in Major League Baseball history.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is not bad.
And that's think of how long baseball's been around.
Sport's been going for a long time. Yeah. There's actually 2 active managers that have more than him right now. I forgot their names, but there are 2. Yeah.
That's a trick that
that's who I can chime in who the 2 active managers are.
With some Henderson swag.
With some Henderson swags. If you can name the 2 active managers in Major League Baseball who have more ejections, career ejections, than manager John Gibbons,
you'd have to factor in they've probably been around for a while.
Send current Paula for it. Put in Cox. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. We're just talking about Bobby Cox.
At least he's listening.
At least someone is listening. All right. Don't turn it off. Don't turn off the okay. He's gone.
He's gone.
Sorry about that.
He actually he wrote that. He wrote COCKS and then he gave a finger and then left.
That's right.
Wrong box.
I got confused. This is really the blue episode. Yeah. I have a question. So what do you think? So Bobby Cox.
Blue mark.
Yeah. Oh. Bobby Cox. His career record of 160 ejections. Does that record get beat? Which gets beat first? That record, okay, or the record for the most amount of Big Mac eaten in one single lifetime?
I don't know. There's a lot of fat Americans out there.
Because Don Gorski of Wisconsin holds the Guinness World Record for the most amount of Big Macs eaten in a single lifetime. He's eaten 2 Big Macs a day for going on about 40 years, and in May 4th of this year, ate his 30,000th Big Mac. 30,000 Big Macs.
I bet, like, how old is this guy? Does it say? Is he probably like, say, 55, 60? Like, he started counting when he was 15? Because there's no way you can factor in when you're a kid. Well, his body is probably 80.
He's a fairly fit-looking fellow. Yeah. Don Gorski. Okay. So first of all, to break his record, Don Gorski has to die, and Don is still alive and kicking, and I guess still eating Big Macs.
Yeah. They said what? 30,000.
30,000 Big Macs. You better
Yeah, no.
So that record, or Bobby Cox's record of 161 lifetime ejections.
I would say, I would still honestly say that the Mac one is, because that's an attainable one for sort of anyone. You have to become a major league manager, stick around for a long time, and then also, well, I mean, once you become a manager, then you can just get angry, and then you can get thrown out of each game. But
I say that I vote for the next person to hold that record. Friend of the show, Elizabeth Kumar, listening right now.
Oh yes,
I think you should work on that. 30,000. That's an attainable record.
She's a filet fish fan. Doesn't matter if it's filet fish or Max. Ooh, how about that?
I have to talk to Guinness see if they would allow it, but I'm not really sure. All right, so so you said that we're mathematically eliminated. I also was looking on my little betting website, which I did, and you're also not allowed to bet on the Twins or the Mets to win the World Series.
No. In terms of teams that are still alive, like Tampa Bay has remarkably played themselves back into contention, because Seattle has fallen a bit. You even said this at the beginning of the year, that the Yankees could not maintain the pace that they were doing, and they have fallen. Oakland is catching them, and they're only Seattle and Tampa Bay are actually tied as of right now. Tampa Bay has a game in hand. There's anywhere from 11 to 13 games left, depending on how many games teams have played, because some of them have played the odd one or two extra. But they're 7 wins behind in the loss column. So if Tampa catches the Yankees, that would be crazy.
And we helped.
We helped the Yankees, and we can actually help in a couple of days and just go tank down in Tampa, because that's what we usually do.
Yeah, I have learned something. We do normally not do well in Tampa. We talked about that.
Yes.
Well, we can connect some good connection come out of this season. So we are, as a group, are hoping that the Yankees.
Well, I mean, you always root against the Yankees.
Okay.
You always root against Boston and the Yankees, and Tampa is just that team in the American League East that I always feel bad for, but that always kind of seems to kick your ass at some point.
Yeah, it's like us. It's like the equivalent of just hoping that the Raptors do well year after year after year.
Hey, this year looks good.
By the way, I tell you, we're getting desperately close to basketball season. So, fair warning right now, I've already kind of.
He's going to switch up.
Did you hear Kawhi Leonard is a Toronto Raptor? I don't know if you've heard that, but it's true.
I did not know this.
Yes,
I did not know this.
It's true.
I got a deal on some jersey for some reason. I don't know why. But well, let's have a. What do you think? I always sort of give something to learn, Dave always sort of knocked out of the park. This one, you're not going to knock out of the park, or no one's going to knock it out of the park, because it will not go out of the park.
That is quite a segue.
Yeah,
I think you should just put it on the title, and I'll go in and start explaining what the heck
we're talking
about. That was amazing. Hey folks, it's me, Dave Rothman, and this is a little segment we like to call "What Did Dave Learn This Week?" And Greg said he normally gives me a subject, and then I write a little report, and then I come back and I tell everybody what I learned. Greg tells me how I got it wrong, and this week's a little different because, well, first of all, it's a repeat last week because nobody heard it last week, so it's what did I learn last week, and secondly, I was the one who asked if I could actually do this subject, and it was the subject of sacrifice bunts. And as far as the first thing that I knew was that this is a way that sacrifice bunts are basically just a way to get a guy second base, which, as I guessed last week, was under the shirt but over the bra, and I got it wrong. But I've learned stuff since then, Greg. And I hope you'll bear with me, folks. This is going to be a little different than it normally is. What I normally do is just sort of a little, like, I got my research page a little off the cuff. But, and if you allow me to plug myself, which is something that I'd like to do only on weekends, I'm now doing it on Tuesday. If you allow me to plug myself, I'm going to be starting up my own solo podcast, and it's going to be a scripted podcast, meaning I'm going to write it first and read from the page. And it's going to be on a whole host of different topics, almost none of which are going to be baseball. But I'm doing it solo. This will combine my love of research with my love of speaking continuously without being repeated, without being interrupted, which is what you just did with hand motions.
Exactly.
But so what I did is for Sacrifice Bunt today for What Did Dave Learn Speak, so I wrote out a little script. So I'm going to read it for you and see what you think. Okay, folks. So that being said, we are going to go into Sacrifice Bunts. Now, the Sacrifice Bunt is officially called Sacrifice Hit by Major League Baseball, a fact that would have made researching the subject a lot easier if someone had told me that in the beginning. Greg Howard.
That's right.
Now, this is to distinguish it from the Sacrifice Fly, which coincidentally was Jennifer Lopez's stage name on the TV show In Living Color. It's Fly Girl.
So that was back when they were the hottest thing on the planet.
Yeah. Well, she's the Sacrifice Fly. She was the worst one. The Sacrifice Hit, however, it's part of an older philosophy of baseball, which used to include the regularly repeated phrase, get him on, move him over, drive him in. That's baseball, right? Or it was. What used to be a fairly well-accepted tenet of the game, that is, the closer you get someone to home, the better, is no longer how we do things in the modern MLB. And it's largely because of two things: math and booty. Math and booty. Let me explain. The first thing that the Sacrifice Bunt math will be familiar concept for fans of this particular podcast, but it deserves some discussion. And you know where I'm going with this and what it's called. Like sabermetrics. There we go. Sabermetrics. Sabermetrics, it changed everything. And now the Sacrifice Bunt is considered a wasted out. Bill James, the father of sabermetrics, and not Jonah Hill, this was the guy that was written out of the movie, famously said in 2011 that bunting is usually a waste of time. Basically, you're statistically better off with no outs and a runner on first than with one out and a runner on second. And if you just happen to swing away in what was classically seen as a bunt situation, your odds of scoring are higher. So these days, you're really only seeing a sacrifice bunt during a one-run or tie game in late innings. And also, these days, if you're bunting, you're doing it to get on base, say with the drag bunt, and not just to move the runners over a base. Now, I think that one of the best illustrations of the demise of the sacrifice bunt is the career of Texas Rangers shortstop Elvis Andrus. He's the current active leader, career leader in sacrifice bunts, with 100 of them over the course of 10 years, but only 5 of those sacrifice bunts have happened in the last 3 seasons. But because the bunt is being deployed less now, players just aren't practicing it as much anymore, even if it is with intent to get on base. Phillies coach Larry Boa has said, if you practice bunting, it's the easiest thing in the world. If you don't practice, it's the hardest thing in the world. The good news for us is that we have, as Greg is going to show up here, the good news is we have Kevin Peeler. Are you? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, you get a little corner. I love it.
Yeah.
The good news for us is that we have Kevin Peeler, who dedicates his entire baseball career to perfecting the hardest in the world. He has spent rehab assignments in the minors doing nothing but trying to bunt. No one on base, bunt. Bases loaded, bunt. It's the minors, bunt. So managers are less likely to call for a sacrifice bunt if they don't have confidence in their players to execute it well. This holds true for both sacrifices and bunting to get on base. Most players just suck at it now. Even pitchers who in the National League are encouraged to bunt are often scared to do so lest their precious little fingers get plucked by the baseball. Another reason why you're seeing it, and again, because math, is that since it only makes sense to attempt to bunt at the beginning of a count, you're wasting the chance to tire a pitcher out with more pitches. See, we can't have pitches now because why not?
Count everything else.
Because that's what we do. We're watching a baseball game and we're counting pitches. Also, in recent years, strikeouts have been on increased. Spending an out to advance one runner, one base is a huge risk if your intent is getting out of the inning with more runs than you started it with. Whatever's going on regarding all these trends, no one has told the Japanese, because across the Nippon Professional League, every team had at least 100 sacrifice bunts last season. Shortstop Kenta Imamiya of Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks had 52 alone by himself. Now,
Last season?
yes, in season. Now last season, he also had 14 home runs, and he had a batting average of 264. So it's not like he had his elbows just sort of surgically removed and do nothing else. But the Japanese style of play, is built on sacrifice for the benefit of the team, and players who can do that get famous. In fact, it is an extremely common occurrence to let a sacrifice bunt in the hopes that you'll have a edge of a one-run lead going into the rest of the game. And here you have what will ultimately decide the fate of the sacrifice bunt. Booty. In North America, where individual players look to seize the opportunity for individual success, that success pays dividends in contracts and mass individual sponsorships and fame and booty. And in Japan, where individual sacrifice for the greater good is the unspoken way to become your nation's greatest hero, this is the land that gave the world the kamikaze pilot, after all. U.S. players lining up for the opportunity to sacrifice bunt, because that is the surefire way to get yourself buried in pussy. And if such were the case over here, I guarantee you that we would be in the golden age of bunting, because now more than ever before, this is the time to bunt. And why? Why, Greg Howard? Because shift.
Exactly.
Because of the shift. Players now are all hanging out on one side of the field like the boys at a junior high school mixer. And if you can just knock a little roller off in the other direction, there is a very good chance, something like 7 of every 10 attempts, that your willingness to sacrifice yourself is not only going to advance the run, but it isn't going to be sacrificed at all, because you're going to find yourself safe at first. And meanwhile, that I told you about, the one that isn't Jonah Hill, he's changed his mind. Says he's no longer convinced that the sacrifice bunt is a poor percentage play, the father of sabermetrics. Maybe the Japanese are onto something. There you go, folks. That is what did you learn this week. Woo! Yeah, it was scripted and everything.
I wanted to be like the John Beast of like Steve Colbert and just periodically chime in like, yes. Yes. I try to keep my mouth shut as possible.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
No, you did a great job shutting your mouth. You were very good at that stuff.
My parents used to do that whenever we had car trips. Steve could stay quiet for the longest, and I would stay quiet just to prove my point. And obviously, I figured out that it was a way to get me to shut up. But,
great game.
Yeah.
Great game.
Good parenting. Good parenting, by the way. Good parenting. Yeah.
And I got reports that during the thing that our audio is cutting in and out, but you at least heard maybe a sentence or half a sentence.
All right.
But thanks for those reports. We will work on it for some time in the future.
We will figure.
At some point in time, we'll actually have a working podcast. I'm thinking November.
Probably, yes. Just in time for it to not be baseball anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What? Speaking of Japanese baseball, let's do a little what happened today.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, so today, September 18th, in baseball history, friend of the show and friend of Balco and steroids, Barry Bonds, hits his 30th home run, making it his second 30-30 season. Not a 40-40, but a 30-30. Second 30-30 season. A feat only accomplished by his dad, Bobby, his godfather, Willie Mays, and Ron Gattenhouse.
Anyway.
Yeah, none whatsoever. But it's still kind of cool. Although it was 30-30 and 40-40. He did become a 40-40 man eventually, and that was a few years into the injection. 96, Roger Clemens fenced 20 batters against Detroit, and it was 10 years before he did another 20 strikeouts against Seattle, becoming the first player to have 220 strikeout games. And he ended up going to the Jays a couple of years later. Speaking of steroids, injecting a lot there as well. Speaking of steroids as well, 1999, Sammy Sosa becomes the first player to hit 60 homers in 2 seasons. Steroids. Speaking of not steroids, of not remotely in shape, sexy Bartolo Colon. 2000, one hit New York Yankees. He actually hit New York. They got one hit on him in the 8th inning, and the Yankees have still got the streak going. At that time, it would have taken away a streak of 6,637 games. Since 1958, the Yankees have at least got a hit in every single game.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Clemente days, by the way. So that was the first time that happened in 2002. In 2004, speaking of Japanese baseball, Japan had a strike because there was a contraction. They were going to merge 2 teams, but they hadn't set up a second, a 12th team to take the spot of the team that had gone through. So the Orix Blue Wave and the Tetsu Buffaloes eventually did get merged because the strike lasted all 2 days because Japan figured their shit out. And so now the Orix Buffaloes.
Oh.
And the team that took it over is one massive long name sponsored by a tech company. And there we go.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
It's like the Nippon Ham Fighters.
Yeah.
The Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. And it just sounds so much better as like you fight ham, but it's Nippon Ham. It's fighters.
Their mascot is just is
something that is a pig. It's a pig with box up.
Fighters. I enjoy that.
But yeah, that's this in baseball.
I got a question. Has anyone ever come close to a perfect game in 27 pitches? I guess 27 pitches would be the 9 inning.
That's the minimum, yeah. The minimum amount. Technically the minimum amount you would probably even need is 4.
Yeah.
But no. There's been some 80 perfect game pitches, 100 perfect game pitches. But
I guess the theoretical minimum is 8, right? Wait, no,
because it would be a no hitter. It would be a no hitter. You would still have to throw it. You still have to get them on bait.
Wait, no, I got really confused for a second.
You can still do it. You can still do it in 24 pitches. But if you can give up a no hit as opposed to a perfect game, say you plunk 2 guys to start each inning,
yeah,
and then the 5th batter instantly hits into a triple K every time.
27 pitches would be. 27 pitches would be everybody pops out.
Yeah, one pop up. And
everybody on the whole other side pops out. So it never happened.
Never happened. No. There's been pitchers that have had in a row.
Yeah.
They've actually had 3 pitch innings in a row, like 2-3 pitch innings in a row, like boom pop. That's been done before. And there's also been what they call a perfect inning, which is 9 pitches.
Yeah,
3 straight strikes.
I think we may be burrowing into what did Dave learn next week territory.
Possibly, yes. The minimum amount of. Well, this is kind of like a logic problem, I guess.
Yeah. Right? Well, we did enough math this week, so hopefully we'll get off the page for next week and see what happens.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I actually think we put in some decent minutes. I can't wait to see what was recorded.
I know, because this seems to happen a lot. I did have a not so mensch because of just random stupid injuries, but that can wait for another day.
Sounds good to me.
I'm good with this.
Anyhow, a solemn and competitive Yom Kippur to you all. Once again, thank you to Henderson Brewing Company for throwing us the swag. Wearing the shirt. Sometimes we drink the beer. And also, if you would like to do the sort of thing that we are doing, probably better. We like to use a little website stage10.tv, and it allows for this sort of podcast, broadcast, simulcast with video and pictures and voices and sounds and all sorts of cool stuff. We haven't even figured out everything yet.
No.
Yeah. So give that a shot. Anyhow, that's it.
Looks like our medical correspondent has woken up. I'm surprised she hasn't pulled a squeaky toy yet.
All right, I probably have to take her for a walk.
Yeah.
So until next week, I'm your interim co-host, David Bronfman.
My name is Greg, and this is Penny.
That is Penny over there, and until then, stay safe. Before you made me Bronfman, Greg Howard. Mike Howard. Good part. That's what's my head. Right?